Welcome gamers to Nitro Gen Omega, which is a mech management / mech combat game, but probably not the way that you're sort of thinking it. It's not really like a, where you're playing on a 3D map or on any sort of hex map or anything like that. It's sort of, but it's also not like Darkest Dungeon, that sort of style of combat. I'm sort of sick of that sort of style of combat, to be perfectly honest. This is really quite engaging. I'm very impressed with what the game is going to be offering. It's in early access at the moment. There are some bugs in the game, or some problems, not so much bugs, but just things missing that you would expect to be in the game. The big one is that you don't actually have an over map. You've only got this little sort of directional map, which just really shows you what's close around you, which is okay-ish, but really you do need to have like an overmap of the whole world. The world is not procedurally generated from what I can gather. I think some missions are, and your crew is, and then there's a lot of open world things you can then go and do. But the initial part of the game is full of quests that unlock things for you, so you don't want to be missing any of those. And unfortunately, without the map, I did get lost with this particular one. I actually had to go and start a new game just to see where I was on the map, to try to cobble things together to get this particular craft back towards where I think I'm supposed to be to continue with the line of quests to sort of do the unlocks. I'm trying to unlock feeding my crew at the moment, so I'm just going to keep on sort of scrolling down this city down here that I had sort of visited. I'm just going to go down to the city here, and we'll just sort of see if we can get it started. So we've got an airship. The airship is it does use the fuel. Another problem with the game is it doesn't matter if you run out of fuel, you'll still just keep on going. So you don't. I'm trying to play the game the way it's supposed to be played, which is to have fuel, which means it does cost me what's called marbles. Why they're called marbles, I've got no idea. Instead of being called money, it's marbles. You also then have scrap, which is used to repair your mech. You have one mech with essentially 4 pilots doing different things in the mech itself. You've got a driver, you've got a gunner, an engineer, and then an operator, which sort of does like sort of more general things. It works very well in the sense that of those different things. It is a turn-based game. There we go. This is Redline Point. And so I've got unfinished business here, I think. So that's why I'm thinking I'm just going to come back in and do some quests. Now, when you come into a location, they're going to have sort of like random things. We've got an inn through here where we can go and recruit different people. Now, rookies don't have any specializations at all. It's almost a waste of money to get them, and I've actually got one in my crew. I like to have one spare, I think, just to sort of have like an extra crew member just in case somebody does need to be sort of done. These are randomly generated. A problem with your crew members, and I'll talk about that in a minute, is that you can't rename them. That's also another thing I think really does need to be in the game, particularly if this game is going to be used by streamers to so they can sort of name it, or even just anyone. I mean, a lot of people like to name the characters that they actually have in games, and this is very role play heavy in the way that the crew members interact. It's role play heavy, but not in an overhanded way. Like, it's actually very succinct, very quick, and I'll show you that as well when we sort of get into it. Let's just go back out, and so I won't get any more crew members. Back in here we've got the gas station. All you do here is just go and click on that. It just rolls up. Maximum of 200 at this stage. I don't know if I can get more. Maybe we'll be able to unlock something else to get some more. I'll accept that. It's going to cost me 2 marbles for that. Marbles is my money. Then we've got the fixer I'll come back to in just a minute. General store is where we can buy different parts and components. So you can see we've got like different fruit and veggies and milk and stuff. These are ingredients for cooking, and cooking is actually an important part of buffing your crew, but I haven't unlocked that yet. So I'm sort of a bit lost as to what I do next to actually bring those together. I love the style, by the way. It's one of these things that's quite refreshing to play. If I go to parts, we do actually have a few parts in through here. So we have strong orangutan arms. If I start to make use of these, we're going to be able to replace components that we have with different other parts. Now this is 400 to get one of those. This one's going to give me a sniper shot. Deal 7 range damage to a target if the target is not in your zone, half otherwise. That's actually really awesome. I might see if they can keep hold of that. I don't know if I can reserve it. I don't think I can. I can just afford it, but I don't know if I want to. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll grab one of these. So strong orangutan arms. You can get multiple if they've got multiple, but I of course can't afford multiple. That would be cool. I'll just have a look at the others as well. This is Resilient Chimpanzee Core. You can see they've sort of certainly got a primate sort of theme to them. The main mech that we're using is a baboon mech. But we do need to keep on improving our mech all the time because it's very, very important. That sniper shot really looks very, very impressive. I like the look of that. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the way these things work. If I do go and click on them, it's not going to give me the information. I'll just go and cancel that for 1 second. We've got the Resilient Chimpanzee Core. This one does give me scanning and deploy smoke, which I've already got. It does give me an extra smoke than what I have. Back over here, we have like the 7, I think that's 7 extra hit points, and I think we've then got 3 smoke. At the moment, the core that I've got provides 2 smoke, but with the same scanning and deploy smokes. We've got the Fit Chimpanzee Shoulders. It's the slap, deals 3 melee damage. This is actually fairly good, but this one does actually add 5 hit points to what we've got as well. And then guard, halves the range of melee damage. So I've already got that with what I've in my current mech, and then the strong orangutan shoulders backing through here gives me another 7 hit points, which is actually very, very, very valuable. The slap deals 5 melee damage. We have guard, again, the same as what we had previously. Then we have a charged punch, deals 7 melee damage to the target in the next segment. The target must be in your zone, so we can sort of rush in. This one looks good as well. Like these higher level ones look very, very cool. I think we might start to just do a few more missions. I might even grab the sniper shot, I think. So this is the arms, this is the shoulders. Yeah, I think with what we currently have, what I can do is I'll just go back out, and I'll actually go all the way back out and have a look at the actual mech that we've got. So when I go back in, this is my team, this is the overview. Contracts, we don't have any active contracts at the moment. Quests are combinations of contracts that then lead to unlocking things, and so we've unlocked 2 of them so far, and there's sort of like a general progression. I think there's a bit of procedural generation in the way that the individual contracts sort of come together. So the crew, we've got our crew through here. I've got my 4 main crew members plus another random that's just sort of just come back in. Storage is what we actually have in our storage, and again we can go to all items, parts for the actual mech, for the baboon itself. There's some that we're not actually using as well, so we could sort of, if we do have something that's actually, like we've got the nimble baboon chest, we don't need this one, but it's not really worth anything to us, so you know, I can keep those, nothing special at this point in time. But getting the, like the core that we actually have, actually the shoulders, let's have a look at the baboon shoulders. This one gives me plus 3 hit points. It's got -1, and I don't know what that is. That next one, it's almost like a mechanical type sort of thing, but I'm not sure what that actually refers to in the actual mech itself. Slap does 3 melee, and then guard does ranged and melee. So that one does 3. The other one was the arms. So this one here gives me 3 extra hit points. Again, -1 with 2 cannon shots, which only do 2 range damage. Getting the 7 range damage would be awesome. So I might just go back out. And again, I think that those things are also a little bit random. So there's a lot of replay value in the game, which is actually really, really cool. Let's go back in. Let's go and buy that. So let's go to the general store. By the way, the game doesn't progress until you start to actually move around the map. And even then, it doesn't really progress. I quite like it. It's fairly relaxing. So let's just go back across. We go to parts. The strong orangutan arms. This one here gives me, it's got -3. I don't know what they are. Those extra, those sort of mechanical type things. It's uncommon. That's uncommon as well. I'll go that way. I will actually buy this one. I'll confirm it. So we've now got that. We've only got 79 marbles left. We're going to need to go back. And because we also pay marbles for the upkeep of our crew, like for every sort of week or day or whatever the time sort of time unit actually is. Let's go back out now to the actual mech itself and open this one up. You can see there it's costing me 19 wages, like for every week that we sort of are in the game. So we've still got a fair bit of time wages to be paid in, and then whatever that's whatever the time factor is. It's a bit unusual to sort of know what that actually is. Let's go back to our mech and start to then go and just change over the... yeah, so I don't know what these things here are. These this is certainly like a building type thing that we can then sort of go and put onto it. It may be that we have like a oh, we got up to 7. Okay, that's what we have. That's the maximum. So once I get these baboon arms, that will be everything I can then go and do. If I go and click on that one, I've got the strong orangutan arms. I'll go and throw that one in, and then that will take me up to the limits, the mechanical limits of the baboon of this particular one itself. We now have 16 health. We've just only got one extra one with that one, but we now have much better shots. Sniper shot, so deal 7 range damage to the target if the target is not in your zone, half otherwise. So we basically do 3 damage or 7 damage. So that will be interesting to sort of see how we work. The game is very strategic, like incredibly so actually. It's much more than I thought it was going to be, and I love it. I love the combat side. It's nice and fast, but actually really makes a lot of sense. So we'll go out and do a mission, and then we can sort of talk a little bit about the sort of like, I guess, the other things. Let's just get out of there. So we now have a mech which is ready to roll. We need to go back to Redline Point and pick up from the fixer a mission. So we've got 3 missions in here, 2 cleanup operations, and this is important that at the moment we can really only take on level 1 skulls. Anything more than that's going to be really hard for us. So I don't want to be getting anything more, and all of the rewards we get here are just marbles, so that's fine. Aid in the extraction, you distract the machines, we'll do the rest. Let's actually try that one there. So it's only 1 danger level, which is I should be able to cope with that. I have had things where I've been sort of destroyed. Your team members can die, they can become wounded, they can their morale can suffer, but also you tend to survive, but it's costly for you. So I'll try to explain that aspect as well when we do go in it. So this is now our active mission. I'm just going to go and select it. Well, actually, we've now got what we needed. So all I do is I just find, now I've got that one's, it's it there. This is it, and actually I should explain what that is as well. Let's just quickly go back in. Go back to the crew. One of my crew members has got like an aspiration to visit his hometown, I think. If we go to Maury, yeah, one of them has got an aspiration. Some of them have got traits like Optimist and Downer in this case. So if we go to skills and traits, we can then sort of see, we'll laugh about it in a day or two. So fairly pragmatic, but also brings everyone else's mood down, which can be a problem. This one here, just go back to the overview. One of them has got it. This one here, aspiration, visit Hoverreach. So wants to visit his hometown of Hoverreach. So he was born in a place called Hoverreach on the map, which is showing up as one of the other exclamation marks that we sort of go and see. So that's what he wants to then go and do. This is our engineer. I think it's engineering. So he's our engineer at this stage, and we're just slowly sort of getting his skills up. It's even got things like the blood type. I don't know why. I don't know what that's got to do with anything. Skills and traits back in through here again as well. Slowly getting this one up to a higher level. Personal, he's just neutral with everyone. He's friendly with Sakichi. So Sakichi is our driver, and Sakichi is also, they're just friends together really. The others are neutral, friendly down with Mori, back and through this other side. And I'll show you how to sort of try to get things to work in that sort of sense with these other characters. This one has got no skills whatsoever. I just really got it there as a backup in case we sort of need a crew member to sort of step in. Okay, let's go off, and this is the mission here that we have to do. That's the aspiration to visit his hometown, way in the north somewhere. Let's just go and click here and start to sort of move across to do this mission. So you'll notice that there's different biomes. Like this is more like a grassland, sort of foresty biome. Then we hit sort of like a desert biome, and these will actually have different types of quests in them as well. So this is aid in the extraction. We'll just deploy the mech. So what we do in here, a transport got stuck nearby. I've got another crew pulling them out, but I need someone to keep the machines busy. You in? Yes, we are. We'll begin. So we've got 2, I should have shown that there. There was 2 mechs that were showing up. They pop into their, like the actual characters, which are again are randomly generated. They'll actually pop in. So they're not the same. I thought that they were all just going to be the same thing, but they actually are procedurally generated. This is cool. We've got 2 different mechs we have to fight. And I just saw what they were. One I think was a rabbit and one was a wolf. So there's different classes of mechs. Yeah, so if we have a bit of a look. Now I'm just covering up where it's got one more, so you can just sort of see next to my head, back over, if I click back in here. That's actually important to know what's coming up. So these guys, this one's got a movement, the wolf has got a movement, and this one is doing an attack at this point in time. You can see where the blue one over through here, north, south, west, east, and in this case we actually are in the same location as the wolf. So the wolf character, this one here, is in the same location as us, and we can see there that the wolf is doing a movement at that point. Now the wolf, if you can sort of get a few clues by sort of looking at the actual what they have. The rabbit has got, you can see through here, the rabbit has got 3 bullets that can then go and fire. It's got 5 hit points. The wolf doesn't have any bullets, so it's going to be using sort of like a more of a melee style attack. So to go up against the wolf, we're going to need to be a little bit careful. We do actually have the, in this case, we've got 16 hit points ourselves. We've got no heat out of 7, so we've got to be careful once we hit 7 heat. We've got one of our shotguns are loaded. We've got 3 reloads there, so we have to sort of shoot and then reload each time. We have 1 rocket as well with 1 spare, and we have 2 smoke. That's actually sort of what all of these are referring to. We then have to go in and with our pilots, and we can change any of the orders: the driver, the engineer, the gunner, or the operator. And we have to then, we don't know what those extra moves are going to be from the AI, and they can position it anywhere in these 6 zones. There is actually also an area where things will happen based on initiative. If the initiative is the same, the player will go first above the AI. So I'll explain that when we get into it. So every decision we do, if I go back into orders, now what do I need to know? I need to know if this guy is going to attack early, and I also need to know if it doesn't, like the other one has just got a ranged attack. This one here has got a melee attack, and I don't want the melee attack to be hitting me. I can avoid that if I'm in a different zone when it attacks, but we don't know when that attack is going to occur. So we need to find out. We need to wait one more turn to see what it will then go and do. What I can do is see where let's just say that it's going to move and then attack down in here. I don't know where it's going to move to because it's already in the same position that I'm in. This one is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and use maybe the operator, and the orders here are to scan or deploy smoke. If I deploy smoke, it's going to help me protect myself against the attack of the rabbit, but the rabbit has got 2 attacks. Let's just do a scan and see what these guys do. Now a scan will actually scan 2 areas. Let's go and do a scan this side. So you can see there reveals all orders played on this segment as well as the next segment. Now do I need both of these? I may actually need both of those. Let's go here. Let's go and just position that one. Now it's dashing to the west at that point. Oh, and here we go. This is interesting. So what's happened here is these have now come through. The first one is going to be attacking me. So we've got an attack coming in this way. I don't know what well, we can sort of see there, they've got to shoot there. They've got an initiative there of 2, which is low initiative. The dash is a 3 initiative. P is special because we see it straight away. And so in this case, they're going to dash across from there to the west, and then they're going to use some sort of defense there if we sort of end up sort of doing anything. So if I shoot now, if I go back to my pilots and go back to my gunnery, and go to orders and then use the sniper shot. The sniper shot is going to deal 7 range damage to the target if the target is not in your zone, half otherwise. Now, when I shoot this one, we can sort of see when I hover over it down in the bottom left-hand corner, the first one is the 7 just underneath where the character is. It's got a 7, that's the damage. The initiative is 2, so it's the same as the other character. It's going to add 1 heat to the actual to the mech, and it's going to take away one of my reloads essentially. So it's going to take out 1 bullet, and so we need to then reload afterwards. So reloading is going to chew up a bit of time, but that's actually okay. We can sort of get around that one. Now, if I shoot the rabbit, it's going to kill the rabbit straight away. So I don't need to even stay. I don't even need to move with my main mech. So what I can do here is I can actually protect myself from this attack and then fire once this one has disappeared away from where I am. So I can fire from, actually goes into defense there. Unfortunately, No, I want to shoot this. I want to shoot this one here. So I'm just going to go back across. I'm going to go back to the driver, and I'm going to this one here has got move to zone, slap, or guard. I could slap the and the slap is going to do a 3 melee damage. This will then bring it down to 5 as well, and or I can go to guard mode and halves the range and attack damage. But really, this shooting is only going to do like 2 damage, so it's very minimal damage. So I'm going to do a slap on, and the slap has to be in the same to a target. It must be in the same zone. So I'm going to go and click on slap, and I'm going to do that one right up front, and we're going to be targeting the wolf. So the wolf is actually in our zone. If I go to the other one, I can still attempt to move around and do things if I wanted to, but that's going to be ineffective if I choose the rabbit. So I'm just going to choose the wolf, do some damage here. I'm just going to pop the slap right in at the start. Bang, that one's now gone. They're now finished with their setup, so we now just continue on. We've got a slap doing some damage there. Now, because of the defense, I don't get a clean shot at it here, unless our initiative is lower than the dash to zone. So let's actually go and see if we can actually do that. I'll try to explain what I'm talking about. If I go to gunners, the gunnery, and I go to the sniper shot, yeah, you can see there the initiative there is 2. It goes 7 damage, 2 initiative. It means that the and it damages the target, and so we don't target a zone, we target an actual unit. So I can probably kill the wolf off in this turn with this one here. If I do the sniper shot from here, this will then dash because it's got the better initiative, and then I shoot, even though it's all in this. Like, oh, actually, will it? Does it do it one turn later? It's hard to tell, actually. It did say it did it 1 turn later, but I don't know if it does. I think I'm better off just killing off the rabbit at this point in time. So I will shoot the rabbit, and then we'll sort of deal with the next one. So if I hit the rabbit's basically dead. So let's just go back to the sniper shot. We'll select the rabbit as the actual target, and just we'll see which round it then comes in on. So we'll do a bit of an evaluation. That way we'll learn how to sort of then make use of this one. Bang, in it goes. And then we've still got one more left. We've got our engineer left. So the engineer, go to orders, and we can deploy coolant. We're going to have a little bit of heat, but not very much. Yeah, that's all I can really do. I just deploy the coolant at the back end there. There's no real benefit. Okay, let's go and begin the resolution. This is going to go too fast. Another problem with the game is I wish we could pause this process or slow it down, do something. I would love to be able to just step through the progress of this manually rather than actually having it done auto. We can look at it afterwards, but it's all fairly frantic. So let's just I'll show you what I mean. The pacing is fine once you get used to it. Bang. So we slap. So we do some damage to the wolf. It then shoots at us, and we take 2 points of damage. So we get knocked back a little bit. Sniper shot, bang, straight at the wolf. At the rabbit. The rabbit is destroyed. So that's now gone because we did 7 points of damage. She did a scan earlier. The wolf is now running and is then going to put up his defenses. We deploy coolant, and that's the end of the round. So that's what happened all in that little animation. It's sort of, you get used to it very, very quickly. It's actually pretty cool the way it does actually work. So we're now sort of in the position where we don't have any bullets left in through here. We're still back down to 0 health. We've lost two hit points. The wolf is now down to 5, and we don't know what it's going to do. It's got one more thing to do in this instance. So I can just delay with one of my sort of unimportant decisions and then sort of figure out what to do once we sort of see what it's actually up to. So it is wanting to do some sort of attack, and this attack is possibly going to be fairly damaging. But to see what, maybe I'll just go back to inspect. This is actually how we can sort of see what we know about the current round. But I can go back to the previous round, and we can then see exactly what happened. So you can see there the initiative was, and this is the order in the top bit there, priority 4 and then priority 2 for the shooting. So priority 4 for the slap, 3 points of damage, one heat goes onto the mech. Then the priority 2 shoots in the same field. They shoot at us, and we take 2 points of damage and they lose one of their bullets, but they've still got 2 left at that point. Then we do a sniper shot. This sniper shot actually does hit in the same round, so I could have done that one there and actually had it sort of work. It's only priority 2, but it did do 7 points of damage, which killed the rabbit, which only had 5 points with what it could then go and do. Extra piece of heat comes onto our one. We then did the scan, which happens automatically, and then the priority was then the dash to zone W, and then the priority was to then shoot us again at that point, but it was already dead at that stage. So it was dead, which is not going to actually sort of work, and so the sniper shot had already killed it by that stage. Then we have a dodge, so it started to try to dodge, but that didn't really matter. And then we deployed the coolant at that stage. So that's what happened in the lead up. Let's just go back out. So pilots, we don't know what its other attack. We've still got one more to go. And so I'm just going to, and I don't know what that will be. If it's going to move into my zone, I then have to think about what to do. So let's just go back to our pilots and just see what it's going to do by just using one of the orders for the engineer. And we'll just deploy the coolant again back in through here. The missile takes 3 rounds to get where it is, so I won't reload that one because we should be able to kill it. There we are, we have the movement, but we don't know where it's moving to. So what we can do is we can actually move, we can check and see where it's going. We can then use a movement, and then we can fire the missile at it, which will do a little bit of damage. It won't kill it, or I can reload. Actually, I might just do the reload, and then we should be okay. So let's actually scan this now and see what it's actually up to. So if we now go to the operator, that's tag in. This is actually how you can then bring other team members in. Operator, scan. We want to see where it's moving to. So I'm just going to go and place that one there. It's dashing to the target. So it's going to dash to wherever I am. This is a different style. Instead of dashing to an actual location around the compass, it's now going to wherever I am. So it will move there in phase 1. It's now finished with what it's doing, and then it's going to attack. But there's one space left over. That allows me, and by the way, the AI does get smarter. So there will come a time when it will do that and then have the attack right there. So just be aware of that. You are going to have, like, if I had a run at that point, my dash would be also initiative 3. Let's just say I saw the dashing and I moved at the same point. Because it would be the same initiative, I get to go first, which means I could sort of zip across to the east. It then moves second. It still follows me to the east. So I'm glad that we know what we're doing. In this point, I can actually just give the orders to move to zone, because we're now after what's going on, and I don't want to be in the north. I'll move across to the east. That will then follow me to the north. So we'll just go and select a target, move to zone, bang, in we go. And we still actually have then the last pilot is to, and it will do an attack which won't do anything. Just go to pilot, go to the gunner, orders, reload bullets. So we're just going to do a reload, and it doesn't matter where I do it. So I'll just pop that one in there. Okay, we'll begin the resolution. All right, so she scans, which has already happened. He then dashes to where we are, bang, in where we are. We then move across to the other zone. We reload bullets. He does an attack, but doesn't do anything. Failed, because we're in a different zone. So all of that happens a bit too fast. This is why I wish we could just slow it down and actually pause, just to really have a good look and see what's going on. Again, we can go back to inspect. I'll do this a little bit here just so you can sort of see what's going on. So scanning first, it happens as a priority. Then the priority through here is dash to target, so it moves into where we are. We then move across to zone E. We then reload bullets, which is a priority 5. And then the priority 4 is to use a bite against us, which would have done 3 damage, but we weren't there, so it failed. And then we deploy the coolant there as well. All right, so we'll just go back out. So now we've got movement at the back end of here. I think it's almost like random in these early phases where they have one of their things. That's not going to hurt us, so we can actually, it's in a different zone. We know it's not going to be able to do 2 movements, or I assume it won't be able to. I'm just going to shoot it with the sniper rifle. So just go to pilots, gunner, orders, and we'll fire the sniper shot at the wolf. Okay, enemy turn. Yeah, it's got defense there, but it's not going to really work. It'll be dead by that stage. Really, at this point in time, we don't have anything else that the others need to do. I still have to give them something to do. I'll just deploy coolant again at the back. I go to the other pilot. This is my driver, orders. I'll just go into guard mode. There's no real reason for doing it. It guards across those 3 areas, and then we just go back to pilots again, and orders, and just do a scan. It's really not going to matter. Yeah, that was dashing to zone west. That was sort of going to dash across there, but it's not going to make it. Okay, we'll begin the resolution. We'll kill it in the first phase with the sniper shot. Bang. There it goes. And it's down. It's surprisingly good. Like it's one of these things where I wasn't expecting it to be anywhere near as much fun as what it actually is. As we do missions, their happiness drops a little bit. That's why we have to sort of manage their happiness as well. We did pick up 80 scrap, that's good, and an activity token as well. The activity token allows us to do things to increase the morale of team members. Not all of them, just some of them. So we just go continue. So that mission is now done. So aid in the extraction, here we go. So that was it there. Oh, this one has now fallen over. It's embarrassed, and so it's going to become a little bit less happy. So let's go and make this one a little bit happier. I don't know which one that one actually was. I'll see if I can figure it out. Just go continue. So if we go back in, I think it's this one here. So if we go and have a look at the menu, the crew, it's Fuzuki, who is just content. So let's go and improve her mood, and we can do that with one of the others as well. Like, who's her friends? She doesn't have any friends. What about the others? That one's got a friend. It's got a friend. That one's got a friend. They've all got friends except for her. I'll get her to do something with another person. So we'll just go back out here and we'll just sort of go into the crew again. Sorry, not crew. We're going to go back and go to the ship. And we're just going to go and find something to do. We can go to the gym and actually have them play either yoga. Let's actually do some yoga. So we'll select a character, select her, and we'll select somebody else to be essentially, that one there is sort of someone that people don't particularly like. So let's just go across to that one. So they're going to both do the yoga together. We'll begin the activity. This is going to use up one of our activity points. And then they become a little bit happier. One's happy now, one's ecstatic, and they become friends. So this is how you manage really fast. You don't really do much about it. You're just managing the friendships and they can actually fall out of friendship as well. So you sort of do have to manage this a little bit. I've still got 5 activity tokens. I'll save them up for a little while. Okay, so we need to go back and collect our marbles for that mission. So we'll just go back out to travel. Oh, the other thing with the mech. Let's just go across the mech itself. Actually, the mech, if we go back to repair, actually we're still at 100%, so we hardly took any damage. If we did need to repair it, there'd be a button here to use some scrap to do the repairs, but we actually managed to play that particular fight out fairly well. By the way, it can be a lot harder than what you just saw. Like some of the, I've lost fights, as I said before, it's... where I've actually just have not quite got my timing right with the different phases. It's pretty damn good, I've got to say, the way it does actually work. Let's just go back in and go back to travel again, and just move back to to that base. You can see there we've got an exclamation mark there. Now we just need to return to Redline Point and pick up the loot from that one. Another thing I would liked in the game would be a way to skip over the early missions, just to get rid of them, so you don't have to do the every time you start a new run, you don't have to go back through all of the laborious tutorial type missions. Would be pretty good. We've got 2 more activity tokens in through there. That's actually good. Just confirm that. Okay, so we can go back into the fixer. We've got 2 cleanup operations that we can then go and do. So we'll just go and grab one of these. And I'll accept this as well. We can't put anything else on our mech at this stage. I could go and grab one of the other things. I've got 261, but let's just go off and do it. Clean operation. Everything else is looking good there, so we'll just now go and leave again. So it's all fairly sort of fast. Looks like we've got in the north here. Just go up. So I'm just clicking on the map just to drag the direction. By the way, I can't go into the mountains. The mountains will sort of block me. So if I try to go into there, bang, doesn't hurt the machine at all. So come up here and just, I'll see if I can just do, I'll just do one more combat just so you can sort of get a bit of a feel for it. Once we go over it, clean up operation, bang, there we go, deploy. So as long as mechs are all there, well, we've just got a rabbit, it's just a single rabbit. Begin, it's going to be extremely easy for us. In they go, crawling into their parts of the mech. But keeping them happy and healthy is important in the game. So even easier than the last fight. Round 1. Sometimes they can have different hit points. This one's got 6 hit points. A sniper shot will kill it. So this is going to be super easy. Unless it moves in the first round. Let's just go and give the gunner the orders. Sniper shot is going to be there against the rabbit. Bang, done. Enemy turn. It does attack in the first turn. It really doesn't matter what we do now. So we've got the kill because we do 7 points of damage because it's not in the same area that we're actually in. It's funny. Sometimes the mouse just turns itself off. I'm just going to put the guard up at this stage. Guard, come on, here we are. I'll just go and pop it there. Alright, pilots, orders, deploy coolant. Not that we need to do it, we just need to get all the pilots operating. Actually, I can skip. There we go. I didn't realise we could do that. So we just begin the resolution. This should just be an automatic kill. Now, I'm pretty sure that actually had the sniper shot and their shot was at the same time. So that was just sort of, that was a bit of a nothing. They get a bit tired with doing these things, but everything is sort of going up. 1 activity token, some scrap, just go continue that. These are incredibly easy attacks that we're sort of doing at the moment. There are much more difficult mechs that we then go up against, and we also then have to build up our mech as well into something a lot more substantial. Ultimately, we can get different chassis and things to improve what we have. But I'll just do this last one and just see if that's the end of, like if it unlocks anything else for us. So I'll just do one more. That was a nice fast one. Clean up operation, done. Just go back to the fixer. Last one that we can sort of see through here. We'll accept this particular one and hunt the machines in this other side as well. Don't have to worry about anything else back in this other side. Back out we go, and off we go again. So we're now just back across into this sort of wastelands biome. And clean up operation, deploy, begin. Oh, there's two of them in here. Okay, so I think we've got a wolf. I didn't double check, but I think it was a wolf and a rabbit. I like what they've done with this, and like it's all the characters are procedurally generated, so it's not as if they're the same characters you have in a lot of real role-play games. But yeah, just being able to rename them would be good. So we have an 8 wolf with an attack at the back. So we have to now start to think a little bit because of the one more that they both are having. The wolf, if it's in our zone and we're down in the southern zone at this stage, if the wolf makes it across there, then we're going to be in trouble with that attack. Not that we're going to be in trouble because we've certainly got a lot more hit points than what they've got. But what I want to do here is actually move, not move at this stage. I want to just sort of, well, I guess sort of almost just see what they get up to. And the last thing I really need to do here is I just go back into the pilots, go back to my operator, orders, and just, no, not a scan, hang on, we'll do engineer. We'll just go and deploy the coolant, because I need to find where that wolf is going to move to. So I'll deploy the coolant here at the back end. By the way, if they get injured, they will have limitations on what they can do with their turns. So it becomes a lot more involved as you play it. So they do have movement. So he's going to move, but then attack way back over here. Now I want to know what sort of movement he's going to do. Will he follow me, or will he move to another location? It's important for me to know that. So I'm going to go back to the operator, orders, scan, and we're just going to do the scan here. And he's actually going to move to where I am, down in this other side. So I now need to move. They're now done with their moves. I'm now going to move across to another location and then fire at the rabbit. So I could have actually fired there at the rabbit, killed that one off so it didn't get any attacks in, and then actually done. No, I still would have had to figure out what the scan was. No, I had to do it there. All right, so let's go back to the pilots. I can't. Well, I've got a bit of time to actually do this movement, so I can actually kill off. If I just go back into the gunner and use the orders and do the sniper shot and select the rabbit at that point, that will then kill the rabbit off, and that will stop those two attacks coming in. So we'll do that attack, and then the last one we have is the movement. We just need to move before they can do that attack. So we'll just go back to the pilots, orders, move to zone, and we'll just move across into the east, I guess. Doesn't really matter where we move to. So I'll select that target and move there. We'll just do the resolution. So scanning, dashes to where we are currently. You can see it move on the mini map. Sniper shot kills that guy off. He's then defeated, and so he doesn't get his 2 attacks in. We then move to our zone. Then he does his attack, and there's nothing there. So deploy the coolant. So we're back to sort of square one, except we don't have any more targets. Now there's movement being done at the very, very end here with this one. So I'm thinking that we actually are fairly safe to now have a shot at it. I do actually have the. So I'm not even going to worry about doing much at all here. So I'm just going to go across. I'm going to fire a missile at this one because it doesn't move for a few turns. So if we just go across to pilots, gunner, we're going to use the orders, and we can reload the bullets or we can fire the missile. Actually, that's another thing. I wish that it wouldn't do the fire command. I don't know if there's other people that can reload the bullets for them, but it's sort of funny having the fire command like that. Maybe it's there for a reason. Anyway, we're going to fire the missile at this guy. So it's going to do that one. It then lands 2 turns later. It's going to do defense, but it's not going to be able to do it. So that's actually its turn. There's really nothing for us to then go and do with the others. So I'll just go back into the pilots. We can just skip that one. In fact, there's really nothing for us to do with any of the others except for the heat. Pilots, the engineer, orders, deploy coolant. I'll just do that at the back end. And pilots, the last one we have is the scanning. We'll actually have a look to see what. Might as well have a look at what it was actually getting up to. So I'll just go back into orders and just do another scan there. Doesn't cost me anything. Dashing to the west, so it's actually moving away from us anyway. So that's going to be. We'll just now do some damage with the missile. So we'll just begin the resolution. Okay, fire a missile. It then fires, and it does explode. Does 3 points of damage. Deploy the coolant. It then dashes across to the west, and that's it. So it's now taken a bit of damage. Now it's moving there, which means that if I now do a sniper shot at it, oh hang on, I now have nothing loaded. So there is movement at that point. Well, I'm not going to be able to fire, so I do need to find out what the movement actually is. So we don't know what sort of attack it's going to do. I might just do with the pilots, I'll go back to the operator, orders, and just do a scan of the movement. Dash to target, so it's going to come across to the east, and it is attacking there. So what I need to do is I need to now use this one here to move away. So I'm just going to go back to the pilots, the driver, orders, move to zone. That way it just can't do anything, and we can move back to the north. That will be fine, so I'll just leave it where that is. So moving to the north. There is no way to undo that as well, by the way. I wish there was an undo. That was another thing that I would really, really like in this, just to undo the last thing that you did, because the last thing doesn't really have any bearing. Like particularly if nothing has been exposed. Actually, if something gets exposed, I guess it does. Yeah, still wish that there was some way of actually correcting that for the turn that you just did. But yeah, maybe it's too hard to do that one with the extra stuff that would come in. Anyway, let's go back in. We've still got to do the others. So it's scan. We need to go back into the pilots, the engineer, orders, back in through there. Let's deploy the coolant. Actually, reload the missile. Actually, no, I'll deploy the coolant. No, actually, reload missile will be fine. Let's go and do that back here. And then we also need to reload the gun back in through this other side. So just go back to pilots, the gunnery, and orders, and reload bullets. There we are. Begin resolution. So we're just going to avoid the attack at this point and get ready for the next attack. Dash to target. We're going to bounce away from it. It failed to do its attack. We reload the missile at the back end there. And we're ready in round 4. Planning phase. So in this case, they're going for defense there, which means we do actually have free shots. Even if it moves in, there's not going to be any attack from it. So we can certainly kill it off now straight away. So we'll just go to pilots, gunner. We now actually have the sniper shot is now sort of loaded in as well. So we'll just go back into orders, sniper shot, select the wolf, kill it off. It's doing a movement, not going to worry us. Just go, all the pilots can now just sort of skip the others. And we took no damage at all there. Begin the resolution, and that should be the end of it. Kaboom. And it's gone. Alright, victory. So I'll go back and we'll sort of leave it this here, but it's a pretty cool, fast-paced little game, you know, like it's actually, it's quite strategic, it is good fun. I do like it a lot. It's not what I expected, you know, I was sort of expecting something a bit different with this, so I'll just, you know, I wasn't expecting it to be anywhere near as good. I'll just go back and see if that unlocks now, because we've now done the last of those missions from this location. Hopefully that will then unlock something. We'll just see if that actually is the case, hopefully. Clean up operation, we'll confirm that one. Do we have anything else back in the fixer? No, no more contracts available, come back later. So there was nothing else that was unlocked, unfortunately. Let's just have a quick look and see if there's any other things we can then go and buy, which is down in here, general store. Let's go back to the parts. So we only have those 3 parts now. I can have -1s, but I can't have -2 or 3. So I can't really afford to put any of these on my mech at this point in time. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. That is Nitro Gen Omega. Nice little game, actually. Very, very fun to play. Like as I said before, it was not what I expected, but I really, really like what it does. It does it very, very well. We didn't actually play any difficult fights. Unfortunately, it would have been interesting for you to sort of see just how difficult the fights can get, and they can get very tricky. The different sort of mechs you come up against can really be quite challenging. It's just a nice mechanic the way that they've done it. Like it's very meaningful. Actually, where you actually sort of position those phases and the way you manage them, depending on what you're actually up against. So it's yeah, a lot of enjoyment with this game. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this sort of content. I'll catch you guys next time.